unpopular opinion, I did not care for The Godfather. Was it tea? Yes. I liked how they met, all that jazz. I thought it was great. However, I'm sure that it's shown in the books. I haven't read the book. He was just a bedroom boyfriend. If I'm not looking at the source material, he was just always in his house like a little house elf making him smoothies. And I don't know why the sprinkle in me is like, you're gonna be paying for something. Like, what do you mean I'm just here after you get back from your game and then I go off and do like my little waiter thing? Like, you're a famous hockey player. Why am I still working at a restaurant? Like, I know that I'm about to go to school, but like, are you paying for some of these books? Oh, you gave me a suit and a closet. Gee, thanks. I wish I would be up at my man's house. I'm a secret. And you not at least paying for something, but you were asking me to be up in here. Now there again, when he did the grand gesture of love and like putting him out on the ice and like kissing, like I love that.
However,
you're getting smoothies and booty. What am I getting? Oh, you get to go to free games. Nah, you paying for these school books. You paying for these school books. There is something electric about watching actors who are genuinely passionate about the story that they're telling. And you can feel that in every single scene of Heated Rivalry. I just feel like when an actor believes in what they're saying, like you have no choice but to believe them too. And I even think about Cynthia Revio when she was preparing to play Alphaba and how she had to do like deep emotional work so that by the time that she's saying Defying Gravity, she had to actually feel like she could. And that's what these two brought to this series. He practiced until native Russian speakers were complimenting his fluency. Like,
show some respect.
that man acts with his whole face and especially his eyes. Like you really believe that he is just this lonely, tender gay bottom who just wants a love that he's never asked for before. He brings so much emotional vulnerability to this role with and without words. And when actors care that much, you feel like you're not even watching a show. You're watching a version of yourself that just cares so much about what they create and also more importantly, who you feel aligned to create with. Every time a show has intense or graphic intimacy, like there's always an interviewer that asks like,
how did you do it?
They're actors. This is literally their job. Like what I've learned through watching so many interviews and like research is that most sex scenes are not sexy to film. They are technical, like it's a dance. It's not some like spontaneous, passionate moment half the time. And yet this show managed to make those scenes feel so real and spicy. Like even like the asking of consent, actually being vocal about the mechanics of who is doing what, if they've ever done the what.
Oh, so you doing the bending.
Making it seem so natural of like what gay sex actually is. And it wasn't like a cutaway. Like it just was all of it from beginning to end.
It felt so real.
They actually showed the emotional shifts in their relationship and how it started off as, you know, casual, fast, passionate, a little emotionally disconnected from Ilya, like trying not to like care so much. And of course, Shane automatically just being like,
headline, I'm in love.
Even during that one specific time, like when they did it, Shane was like, we didn't even kiss. That line hit because like, where was the love? Each time that they do it, like the way that they touch each other changes. The way that they look at each other during those scenes, like it changes. It's different. It's evolving. But now there's like tenderness. And that is the growth, you know, the evolution of the relationship, of their trust, their comfort, and their love. And then it's the attention to detail, like the little nods to the book, the tuna melt, the ginger ale, the no hand stairwell moment. If you've read the book, you catch those Easter eggs and like you feel seen. And if you haven't, it still works because the story still lands. That balance, the ability to honor the source material and bring new people into the hockey world, that's the mark of a really damn good adaptation. It reminded me of when I watched Call Me By Your Name for the very first time, and like that movie still has me in a chokehold. I remember immediately buying the physical book and listening to the audiobook twice.
Yeah. I was having a moment.
They're aware of the fandom, the edits, the theories, the thirst, the fanfics, and they feed it. They're not embarrassed by it. I can't stand it when an actor is like embarrassed by the fandom. These two are in the trenches with us. They're aware, they're laughing, they're leaning in. And we can feel that they're also fans of the experience. And it's just so top tier watching two people who love being a part of something that means so much to so many. I used to never understand sports. Why are people buying jerseys and screaming at screens? But now, baby, I get it.
I have evolved.
It's not about the game, it's about like belonging. Picking a side and rooting for something and being in it together because you want them to win. Do you know how tempted I am to buy a Rosenau jersey? And then when you hear them talk about their first chemistry, like it was said in a podcast that when it was over Zoom, they didn't even speak for the first 5 seconds. They just looked at each other, sat in stillness, laughed, and then started the scene, they just knew. He said that it was like an immediate feeling of be like, oh yeah, it's you, like you're mine. And like even when they do interviews together, like you just know that they're tapped in, they're tuned into each other. It's just so refreshing and nice to see. I love that like they fake kiss each other, even though one of them has a girlfriend. Like, yes, feed us. Just feed us. Like it's not that serious, it's not that deep. It's giving like platonic soulmate. This show makes you want to go to watch parties. And the first time that I really got into that was for Love Island season 7. I was at a party, a rooftop bar, and it was during the summer and it was amazing and it's just like great energy, right? I'm there with friends. I was there with a live audience when Nick and Andrea kissed for the very first time. The room erupted. We're hooping, we're hollering. It was like watching Captain America catch.
How do you pronounce it?
They really carried these men like emotionally, spiritually, and almost literally like logistically, like in every way possible. And what I loved was that majority of the conflict between the guys, it was mostly internal. There was no cartoon villain or dramatic outside threat. It was really just what these two men were, well, 3 men wrestling with inside themselves, you know, the fear, the shame, the secrecy, the pressure. And in the midst of all of that, you had these women showing up as all of them emotionally secure, self-aware, grounded forces. She could have spiraled. She could have internalized all of it when she sat down on that dinner with Shane and was like, do I do it for you? Like she was like, I don't think I do it for you, and that's okay. I just found it so refreshing to see a woman recognize a pattern, and it wasn't a place from like self-pity but from clarity. And like she genuinely meant it when she said let's be friends, and then showed up as a friend to him after. Svetlana is the queen of reading the room. She and Ilya are also giving platonic soulmate. She noticed immediately when his heart was somewhere else, and like she didn't get jealous. She loved him first, but like not from possession, because real lovers don't love from possession. They love to be in the very presence of love. What I love about us women is like when we know something to be true, we'll say little things just to see your reaction. Like whenever like Shane would be on screen, she'd be like, yeah, he's so hot. And like, oh, I know that you're texting Jane. She knew. She just wanted to see his reaction, like him getting so defensive and being like, no, that's not true. Like Russians, we don't blush. Like, honey,
You just became defensive because you're insecure.
and I love that she was not afraid of Scott. And she called him out directly and protected her mans. And so it needed to be said, like, listen, he loves you, but it's really at the detriment of him. He's willing to be a secret because he loves you so much, but do not hurt my mans. She ate that down. And even Shane's mom, the fact she didn't take it personally of like, well, why didn't you tell me? Just being like, I'm sorry that you felt like you couldn't just tell me. She put on her momager hat and was like, okay, how are we gonna... The women in the show were just never needy. And they weren't weak either. They were just emotionally intelligent, deeply grounded, and supportive of these men. And they need to be given their flowers. Thank you very much. I was on pins and needles watching them the entire time because it shot like a dream of everything going so well and so good. And like typically when they have the characters just like in complete bliss, there's always something that happens that disrupts it. And I was kind of like on the edge of my seat waiting for that to happen. Honestly, it was like a freaking jump scare. Yes, I was watching Welcome to Derry before that. So I'm already like, because at first I was like, who up in this house? And even when Shane was like, oh yeah, like it's totally like off the grid, no one's gonna bother us, I'm like, what you mean? As a celebrity, why don't you have security? Why don't you have a gate to this house with all windows? Okay, Edward. There was just so many amazing moments in this finale. And like the one that stands up the most is like when Shane was on the phone and here comes Ilya being just like, we got to see this more like playful, unguarded side of him that was just like soft. Like, I just don't think that we see a lot of men be like soft and feel safe. And it just was so refreshing and nice to see because I mean, Ilya is a hard ass and reasonably so because he has this PTSD of like his mom passing away, his dad passed away, people in his life exit in such traumatic ways that of course when Shane got into that accident it was like PTSD for him. I feel like from his character he'd rather not feel anything than feel that again. Just the acting choices, the body language of like when they drove back to the parents' house after they just got caught and they're standing in the doorway just looking like everyone knows that feeling of like being a kid being caught doing something by your parents that you had no business doing and just standing there like kind of awkwardly. They nailed it when they were outside and then the like that the loon happened and he's like
What the was that?
Like, it was just so nice seeing them in a different space because they've always been in the same space. And like, that's why building relationships is so like, it's fundamental to be in different spaces to see in all the ways that you can show up, you know, and all the ways that you can be. The fact that like Shane couldn't even sleep. He was like, we need to figure out a way to keep you in the United States or keep you in Canada or wherever the hell they were. The fact that he was like, okay, let's start a charity. We can do this. We can do that. And when Ilya was like, is that what you want? Like, you love me that much that you're willing to do this and like, you know, even him saying like, my mother would have loved you like I love you.
I'm not crying, you're crying!
It low-key kind of gave when Tony Goldwyn told the Kerry Washington, my mother would have loved you. And he said it twice.
It's what I missed since what?
You didn't know that my mother would have loved you.
Oh.
Yeah, they're in love. And even that moment where he's like, dude, this is my nightmare, this is my nightmare. And him being like, well, don't you think it's time to wake up? But also, like real talk, why is there no paparazzi? Why is there no Princess Diaries hiding in a tree pretending to be a boat for over a decade and no one caught a pic? No one started a rumor for 10 years? Also, can we talk about the rewatch value? This show is infinitely rewatchable. Every glance, every line, every emotional beat just hits deeper, you know, the second and third and fifth time around. Tell me in the comments, what were your favorite moments from Heated Rivalry? Or if you read the book, what little detail or Easter egg made you scream when you saw it on the screen? Let's talk about it. I love you. See you in the next video. This is l.k.p. approved, honey. Loved it down. Yes, ma'am.
When I'm with you, it's like chaos. Talking's just one thing you do if you're